to this beat.
Welcome to another episode. Welcome to another episode of Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will. I am your man, Captain Will. Make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe to Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will so I continue to bring you that gospel. Gamecocks every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. I thank everybody for the love, for hanging out with Captain Will. It's a Friday. You don't have to be here, but you're here hanging out with me. And I want to thank everyone for the day ones, the mocha lattes, the day teas, everyone who's been there and still hanging out with your man, Captain Will. Follow me on Twitter at Gamecocks Talk. Follow me on Instagram at Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will. And wherever you get your podcast, you can find this amazing podcast covering South Carolina women's basketball. We got to go today, y'all. I said we got a good one today, y'all. We are talking about where does the Gamecock stand right now? After 5 games, where does the Gamecock stand after 5 basketball games? But before we get started, I just have to say, you are now rocking with the best. And since you're rocking with the best, come rock with your man, Captain Will. Well, the Gamecocks are 5-0. Let's begin with that. Gamecocks are 5-0 as we prep for UCLA on Sunday, 4 o'clock p.m. going down. It's going to be an amazing atmosphere in Los Angeles. The Gamecocks are number 1 in the AP poll. South Carolina is number 1 in the net ranking, which I hold true to my heart. South Carolina has a strength of schedule of 14th in the country. I say that because we have quite a few teams with strengths of schedule through 5 games that are horrific. And I hear people shooting darts at South Carolina because we actually have played quality basketball teams through 5 games. Okay. It's easy to not talk about deficiencies in teams when they have not played anyone. South Carolina could have opened up with multiple teams that are ranked 200, 250th, 300th in their strength of schedule or in their net ranking. But Carolina decided to open the season up with the Michigan. So you saw some flaws with the Michigan team, huh? Then, we proceeded to play North Carolina State. We saw some flaws in this basketball team against North Carolina State too, huh? But when you play on a team like I don't know. There's so many. I don't want to throw shade at some of these teams that aren't very good. But I'll just say like this right here. You have a lot of teams that's been talked about right now who hasn't played anybody and going to be exposed sooner rather than later. You can hide the warts for only so long. And eventually, you're going to be exposed. You will be exposed. But with Carolina's 14th ranking in the strength of schedule and still 5-0, and the strength of schedule is only going to go up when we play UCLA, and quadrant 1 wins of 2-0, and those victories over Michigan and North Carolina State. And we talk about quadrant 1 wins, because those wins are what's going to help the seeding when it comes to tournament time. Oh, yeah, it actually matters who you play when you are being seeded in the tournament now. Oh, snap. So if I play all these cupcake teams, that's not going to be reflected in a seeding come March. Yeah, that's how it goes down. That's how it goes down now in March Madness. It actually matters who you play. Now, with Coach Staley having a crazy schedule, not all by choice, but still a crazy schedule despite that, it's the notion of us going undefeated is still there. I mean, come on. I've said over and over again that I thought this team was the best team that Carolina has ever assembled, and I still believe that. I haven't changed my mind. No, I'm not. But if we go undefeated, or if we don't go undefeated, we'll still be prepared for the tournament. What we're playing on Sunday is a tournament team. Not only is it a UCLA a tournament team, UCLA is potentially an Elite 8 team or a Final Four team. That's only making you better. And then we play Iowa State on Thanksgiving. What? It couldn't. I mean, I just love it. I mean, I love football, obviously, but I mean, South Carolina playing against a top 10 team. Ooh, kind of like that. Kind of like that with my dressing. I kind of like that with my pig feet. Kind of like that with my hog maws. Kind of like that with my sweet tea. I kind of like it. Can't wait to see it. In terms of offensive stats for this basketball team through 5 games, and obviously, let me say this with all sincerity, it's early. It's early. It's 5 games. Offensive rating is 111, which currently ranks about 32nd in the country. Last season's team ranked first in the country in terms of offensive rating, and it was 117.3. Okay? We played the last 2 basketball games. Offensively, we've played better. When I say better, I mean we've been playing very well, except for the quarter against Clemson this past game. But in terms of complete game, in terms of offensive rating, it's trending up. Trending up. Okay? So, field goal percentage. We're 68th right now in the country, 45% from the field. We are not getting as many easy baskets as we got last season. We are not. There's not a situation where we can just throw it down to the post and we're going to get an easy score because Camila Cardozo is just bigger than other players. It's different this year. But 45% from the field is still pretty good because you know what? Last season, we were 49% from the field. 44% this year, 45% this year, 49% last year, and that 49% was 4th in the country. South Carolina's missed, in my opinion, too many layups, which would have increased that field goal percentage. And I believe over the course of the season, things will pan out and those percentages will be closer to what it was last season. I believe that. I believe Joyce is not going to miss those easy layups that she normally hits. I mean, we got Ashlyn Watkins who back now, who's become very efficient in the last 2 basketball games. You know, Raven Johnson is not going to be in this slump forever. Those things going to change. So our field goal percentage will raise up to the normalcy. In terms of 2-point percentage, we're currently at 50% from the field, which ranks about 7th in the country. Last season, championship season that concluded with us being the three-time national champions, we were 18th in the country at 53%. Not too much of a difference at this point right now. Not too much of a difference at all. Some of these ratings and stats going to be skewed because of the record that we playing so early. Not a whole lot of cupcakes on the first 10 games for the South Carolina Gamecocks. But it will be a lot of quality wins for the Carolina Gamecocks. 3-point percentage, we haven't hit our stride yet. We only at 32% from the 3. Last year was 39.5% from 3. Some of those are coming, from poor shooting from Raven at this point in terms of 3-point percentage. But those things will change. Trust me when I say that they will change. Free throw percentage is about normal what we normally have throughout the season, which I'm a little shocked at this point. We're shooting at 63%. Last season, and we shot at 69%. I expected our free throw shooting to be better, and I still expect our free throw shooting to be from 72 to 75% for the season. I expect Powell to be, I say this right here, Powell was more aggressive against Clemson going to the basket. Some of those she didn't get fouls on, but I expect our guards to get to the free throw line more than last season. And you got a situation right now where Watkins is shooting 75% from the free throw line. Didn't see that happen. And I know it's a small sample size, but I'll stand on that right there. 75% from free throw line from Ashlyn Watkins is different. You got MiLaysia Fulwiley, who's shooting like 45% because she hasn't been there often, which is surprising because she drives to the basket a lot. She just ain't getting the fouls just yet. Free throw percentage will increase this year. And assists per game, Last year, we averaged 16 assists per game. Okay? Excuse me. Last year, we averaged 19 assists per game. This year, we're averaging 16 assists per game. So early, but we're still finding a way to find open basketball players and have those open basketball players finish at the basket. And a big part of that is our point guard play. Tahina Pau is being a true floor leader in terms of assists, low turnovers. Raven is being a true floor leader in terms of assists and low turnovers. And with Maddy McDaniel now, this last game, she had 6 assists and 1 turnover. She is the epitome and definition of a true point guard, of what I like as a true point guard. The assists will continue to increase, and that ultimately will make our team better. And also with us not turning the ball over a lot, assist to turnover ratio will continue to go up. Assist percentage, we have 50%. Last season was at 56%. I think that is the Camila Cardoza factor, where again we just dump the ball down, throw it to her. She's 6'7", long arms, and she finished at the basket, and therefore you easy assists. Raven's assists were easy with Cardoza. I think right now she's trying to figure out how to play without Cardoza. Real talk, I just believe that. I think she's trying to figure out how to play without her. They played for so many years together in AAU and in college. But I think with Watkins coming back, being fully healthy, getting him in better and better shape, with Chloe being what she's been so far, I think the assist numbers will continue to trend up. Fewest turnovers. Carolina's at the same point it was last season in terms of turning over basketball. And we don't turn the ball over a lot. We averaged about 13 turnovers per basketball game. Last season, we were 27th in the country. Right now, we're 28th in the country. We don't turn the ball over a lot. You have a lot of basketball teams who turn the ball over a ton. North Carolina State turned the ball over. I believe it was 27 times. Clemson turned the ball over. I believe it was 19 times. Carolina don't do that. So when you're not turning the ball over like that, and you get an assist, because right now Carolina has assist to turnover ratio of about 1.23, which is 40th in the country. Last season, it was 10th in the country at about 1.42 to 1. You don't turn the ball over a lot. You have a better opportunity to win. Imagine that. Defensively, last year's team was one of the best defensive teams that we ever had. Okay. With Ashlyn Watkins, Camila Cardoza manning the post, it was almost a no-fly zone in the post last season. You had 2 amazing basketball players who also played amazing and crazy defense. Last season, our defensive rating was 76.6. 76.6 for the season. And that was first. Here's the crazy stat. This is crazy stat. It's only through five games. Carolina's defensive rating is 74.4, which is lower than it was for the cumulative amount of last season. That's a crazy stat for me because Camila Cardoza is gone. Watkins was gone a decent amount starting out the season. Tessa has missed a couple of games. Chloe missed a game. That was surprising for me. But Powell's defense got better. See, you got to also think about the defensive guards on his basketball team. Powell's defense is much better. Ravens' defense is the same as last season. Okay? Bree's defense is better than last season. You have MiLaysia's defense is pretty much the same than at the last season. Then you got Maddy, who's playing 16 minutes per basketball game, is playing sensational defense on the perimeter. I don't think it's talked about enough about how great our guards are defensively. I don't think it's talked about enough. It's more so talking about what's done in the post. But this is a perimeter league. This ain't the 80s. This ain't the 90s. This is a perimeter league. And with a lot of these teams shooting three-pointers all the time, you got to have guards who can close out of those threes and prevent layups and keep in front of them. That's what we have. So our defensive rating right now is a little bit better than it was last season. And we got to play amazing defense. We got to play stellar defense on Sunday against UCLA. Field goal percentage allowed. We're at 35% in terms of field goal percentage. You got Lauren Betts, who's averaging about 73% from the field. And I'm going to say this right here, right now, as I'm recording this on a Friday afternoon at 1:35 p.m. That's a time check. 1:35 p.m. That's when Captain Will is recording this show right now. Lauren Betts is going to have her work cut out for her in terms of field goal percentage by the South Carolina Gamecocks on Sunday. She will be facing the best defense she's faced this year by far, and it won't be close because Carolina will defend her with Ashlyn Watkins, Chloe Kitts, Sania Feagin, Adhel Tac, whoever, and make her work. She's not the most aggressive player anyway. Regardless, she's 6'7", but 7'2". Carolina's going to make her work on Sunday. And as Lauren Betts go, UCLA goes. Boom. 3-point percentage, we're allowing teams to shoot about 34% from the 3-point line. Last season, it was about 27%. We've had a couple teams that was hot and categorically hot. North Carolina State is not a great 3-point shooting team, and they hit some shots that they normally won't hit, but they did. Clemson hit some shots they normally won't hit, but they did. You know, Coppin State actually hit a couple shots that they normally won't hit. I think we're fine. And closing out on 3-pointers. Sometimes you're going to hit shots. Sometimes they go in, sometimes they don't. At this point, I'm fine with it. If this thing continues on and we having this conversation 20 games in, and you got teams shooting about 35% for South Carolina against South Carolina, then we got a problem. Offensive rebounding percentage is actually better this year than it was last year. Last season, we had an offensive rebounding percentage of about 41%. This season, so far, it's about 46%. You can call that the angry Chloe factor. You can call that Joyce Edwards. You can call that Sania Feagin being more aggressive. We have a number of players now who rally towards the ball and get those offensive rebounds. And Chloe has been doing that better than anybody on this basketball team. And she's legit. She's a legit offensive rebounder. And it's just amazing and dope to see. Total rebound percentage, about the same. Last season we was 60%. And this season we're about 59, 60%. It's still about the same. Steals we're a little further ahead last season than we are this season, but 10 steals, 9 steals. Carolina is not a team that gambles, and that's a term I like to say. Carolina is a team that does not gamble for steals, because you gamble for steals, you're gonna get some of them. But also, if you don't get that steal, you are exposed to get done up to the basket. Carolina doesn't do that. But we're still averaging about 10 steals per game. Okay. So blocks we had, okay. So with Camila Cardozo leaving, the aforementioned thing was that, okay, our blocks are going to go down. And it has. Yes, our blocks has went down. Not by much. I mean, right now we're averaging about 6 blocks per game. Last season it was 7.8. And that's with Watkins not playing her minutes. Okay? In terms of the top 8 players in minutes, Watkins is number 8 in terms of totality of minutes. Okay? When Watkins gets about 3rd or 4th in terms of minutes, then we got a situation where those blocks were going to be coming in droves, but it's still about the same. Fouls per game, Carolina don't foul a lot. Last season, we averaged about 14 fouls per game. This season, we averaged about 13. That's so far in the season, we're 11th, and last year was 35th. Good to me. That's great for me, In terms of individual stats, and this season, through 5 basketball games, and actually this player's only played 4 basketball games. Chloe Kitts has been, through 5 games, the best player on this basketball team. Through 5 games. Through 5 games. It's really tough between Chloe and Powell, because I believe Powell is the best player on this basketball team. But through 5 games, Chloe is better statistically by a slim margin than Powell. You have a situation where Chloe's averaging 23 minutes, averaging a double-double with 14 points, 10 rebounds, and of those 10 rebounds, 4 of them are offensive rebounds. She's averaging 1 steal, shooting 54% from the field. Okay? 54% from the field, 73% from the free throw line, has a defensive rating of 70.4. Put that in context. 70.4 defensive rating is out of this world. To go along with 124.6 offensive rating, Chloe Kitts is her through 5 basketball games. If she can replicate this style of play and the stats that she has done over the first 5 games, because we'll revisit at 10 games. But right now, you're talking about a player through 5 games for 23 minutes, averaging 14 and 10. You're talking about all-American type stuff for Chloe Kitts. Who had that on their bingo card starting out this season or starting out after the spring? Who had that in their bingo card? I look forward to seeing the next 5 games and see how they matriculate with her. But shout out to Chloe Kitts and the hard work that you put in over the summer. It's unreal. Te-Hina Paopao has been the definition of consistency. She's averaging the most minutes on this basketball team at 28 minutes per game. And I have to say that because you have a lot of other players across the country getting way more shine than Te-Hina Paopao, who's averaging 35, 37 minutes per game. Okay. You average 35, 37 minutes per game, you shoot 22 times per game, you're going to get more shine. But Te-Hina Paopao does what she does at 28 minutes a game, averaging 13 points, 2 assists, 13 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, only 1 turnover. 1 turnover, shooting 52% from the field, 41% for 3. Those are numbers that are wonderful. But what I like about Te-Hina Paopao is since she's been a Gamecock, her defense has gotten better and better. Her defensive rating right now is 81.4. When it's all said and done, at the end of the season, Te-Hina Paopao, her defensive rating will be in the 70s. Better and better. And you have a Paopao who can play defense well, that's only going to increase her draft stock. Her offensive rating is 131.5. We know what she can do with basketball. She's the most, other than Paige Beckers, she's the most efficient basketball player in the country, especially at guard. Other than Paige Beckers, efficient special player. Watkins is averaging only 16 minutes so far. But in those 16 minutes, she's averaged 7 points, 6 rebounds. Last season, she averaged a little over 20 minutes per game and had 9.7 rebounds. Okay. Once Watkins get back to being Watkins, you're going to see a double-double type situation with her. Okay. So still averaging about 2 blocks per game, still shooting about 52% from the field, 75% from the free throw line, got a defensive rating of 63.2 through 5 basketball games, which is lower than it was last season when she led the country in defensive rating, but didn't get on any defensive teams. What kind of mess is that? She got a pretty good offensive rating in terms of 112.6. Oh, yeah, Watkins ain't ready yet, but she's rounding into shape, y'all. She's rounding into shape. There was some things about Bree Hall basically saying that, was pressing, pressing. Her and Feagin and Raven are pressing, trying to, looking at the WNBA and all these different things. Well, Bree Hall, through 5 basketball games, is having the best season of her career. She is. She averages 24 minutes per game. She's getting, 7 points, 4 rebounds. She's shooting 42% from the field. She's shooting 40% from 3. 67% from the free throw line. Bree Hall's defensive rating right now is 78.0, which is the best in her career in terms of defensive rating. Her offensive rating is what sticks out for me, is 125.9, because she's not turning the ball over. She's playing efficient basketball. Bree Hall is set up to have a great year despite the quote-unquote slow start. She's going to have a great year. And then it trickled down to Feagin, who's played about the same amount of minutes that Watkins has played, averaging about 16 minutes per game. But Feagin's minutes and what she's doing on the court is so much different than any time in her career. Those 16 minutes are efficient 16 minutes, and she will be getting more minutes. She wasn't in foul trouble because she's getting 6 points. She's getting 4 rebounds. She's getting, shooting 53% from the field. She's shooting 89% from the free throw line. But what's made Feagin exceptional is her defensive rating is one of the lowest on the basketball team. Her defensive rating is 72.9. You got Chloe, you got Feagin, you got Watkins, you got Joyce. All these players in the post are playing, wonderful defense. And Feagin in particular, who still got an offensive rating of 106.8, the light is on. The light is turned on for Sania Feagin. She had a good game against Clemson. I think she's going to have a good game against UCLA. She's out of foul trouble. I think she's going to have a good game against UCLA and can just continue to stack good games. That's what Bree and Feagin and Raven has to do. Just stack good games consistently. And everything else will take care of itself. Joyce Edwards averaged about 22 minutes, averaging 10 points. And what's crazy with the 10 points with Joyce Edwards, she's only shooting about 41% from the field. Once Joyce Edwards gets comfortable, and because I believe Joyce could, her field goal percentage could easily be 58, 59% from the field. And those 10 points would then be 13, 14 points. But right now, she's averaging 10 points, 5 rebounds. She had that bad turnover game that skewed her turnover ratio. She averaged 3 turnovers, but now she's averaging about 1 or 2 because she's starting to figure it out. Defensively, 79.7 defensive rating for the freshman phenom. Oh, she ready. She ready. Those turnovers skewed her offensive rating. Right now is 104.3, but Joyce is a baller. She's a baller. She's averaging 75% from the free throw line because she can hit free throws. She really can. MiLaysia Fulwiley is a tricky one because she is averaging 13 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. But what's getting Fulwiley, what's lowering her offensive rating right now and preventing her, in my humble opinion, of being that superstar that Dawn can trust over and over and over again, is the turnovers. She's averaging 3 turnovers per basketball game to go along with 3 assists. Shooting 46% from the field. That's really good. Shooting 33% from 3. That's pretty good, which only going to get better. But her offensive rating is 104.3 because she commits turnovers too much for the scheme that Dawn Staley plays. If she committed 3 turnovers for Southern Cal or a Notre Dame or some of those teams, Texas, something like that, that'd be fine. That'd be fine because most people don't highlight turnovers, and you have a Juju Watkins who averages about 4, 5 turnovers per basketball game. But in the scheme that Dawn Staley plays, and you're only going to play 20 to 25 minutes in the game, and you're averaging 3 turnovers, it kind of gets a little bit of pushback. MiLaysia Fulwiley is the most is the best one-on-one basketball player in the country. In the country. Nothing strikes fear in the defender's eyes more than being isolated by MiLaysia Fulwiley. And it's on you to do something. That's scary. That's scary. Once MiLaysia Fulwiley cuts down her turnovers, I mean, expert mode is being activated. And good luck trying to guard her. She's still playing really good defense. It's not as good as it was last year through 5 games, but she's still under 80 in terms of defensive rating. But MiLaysia Fulwiley, laid with the butter, is a special basketball player. The last one with top 8 in minutes for the season, because I'm only talking about top 8 for the minutes, is Raven Johnson. Raven Johnson is having a not so Raven first 5 games. Whoever watches Captain Will knows that Raven is my favorite basketball player on this team. She is. She was my first interview when I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And she's my first. She's my best and most favorite basketball player. Right now, it's not looking like her. She's averaging 26 minutes. She's averaging 3 points, 6 rebounds. 6 rebounds for a point guard 5'9" is unreal. Let's say that right now. She's averaging 3 assists, less than 1 turnover. But what has stunted Raven's growth over the first 5 games is she's shooting 20% from the field. She's shooting 0% from 3. She's shooting 50% from the free throw line. All those numbers is lowering her offensive rating to 81.5. Defensive rating is still exceptional. Still exceptional at 75.1. Raven averages about 7 shots per game, which is very similar to what she averaged last season. 7. Right now she's averaging, was it 7? I think it was 7.3. 7.3 shots per game last season. Currently, she's averaging about 7 shots per game. The problem is last season she shot 44% from the field. So far, she's shooting 20% from the field. Okay. Last season she shot 2.2 3-point attempts per game. This season, 2.6. The problem is last season she shot 35% of those 2.2 attempts. This season, she hasn't hit 1 out of those 2.6 attempts per basketball game. We'll be having a completely different conversation about Raven. We'll be saying Raven's one of the best basketball players in the conference if Raven started out this season where she left off. If she started out this season shooting 44% from the field, 35% from 3, the narrative will be so much different. Now, Raven has the opportunity to shut all that stuff down against UCLA. She has a great game against UCLA. Those folks who are talking about, oh, Raven needs to change her shot. Oh, Raven needs to do this. Oh, Raven can't do this. I'm so sick and tired of being sick and tired of hearing about what Raven Johnson cannot do. You know what Raven can do? She can play the game of basketball. What she's going through right now, ladies and gentlemen, is called a slump. That is it. Through 5 basketball games, she is playing not well offensively. But what she is doing well, her offensive rebound percentage is the highest in her career. Her defensive rebound percentage is the highest of her career. Her total rebound percentage is the highest of her career. Her blocks is the highest of her career. Her turnover percentage is the lowest of her career. Bottom line up front, shooting is dragging her numbers down. But that can and will change. And I believe it starts on Sunday against UCLA. Raven is a dog. She hears outside noise. She hears that mess. She hears people talking about her. But Raven also thrives in adversity. You can say what you will about Raven. Raven is a dog. She's from ATL. She ain't letting this mess affect her. She knows she can shoot the damn basketball. Come on now. Come on. when Raven was the number 2 overall recruit, higher than most of the country, Raven was giving everybody work. Narrative last season that Raven couldn't shoot the ball. She shot a field goal percentage that was high, 44%. She shot a 3-point percentage that was higher than some of the players who making millions of dollars in NIL. Yeah. Look it up. Look up Juju Watkins' 3-point percentage and look at Raven's 3-point percentage from last year. And see who shot a better percentage. Now, Juju shot like 7 threes per game. Raven only shot a little over 2, but the percentage is the same. It seems like when you shoot 31%, you're the ones that need to be shooting about 2.5 instead of 7. But I ain't talking about that right now. Well, I'm talking about Raven. She's going to play great on Sunday. She's going to play really good basketball, and this mess that we've been hearing about is going to go away. I still believe Raven going to have a great year this season. Why wouldn't she? It's just 5 games. If we're having this conversation, 25 games, 30 games, then it's a problem. But Dawn changed nothing. You know what Raven can do. She's had it for 4 years. She knows she's a baller. She's going to ball out against UCLA. Mm-hmm. She will. And we'll talk about UCLA tomorrow. We'll discuss what they got going on as we go into this big game against a top 5 opponent. But make no mistake about it, the Gamecocks in a great position offensively and defensively. And health-wise, there have been some little hiccups so far. We've had some disruptions through this season so far. But once it gets smooth sailing, this past game was the first game that we've actually had all 13 players. Here's a fun fact. When we arrived in LA with 13 strong, those 12 5-star recruits, those 10 McDonald's All-Americans going against UCLA, and Carolina kind of playing with a chip on their shoulder. The people are not believing in Carolina right now. Okay, gotcha. Keep all those receipts. Until tomorrow, this concludes another episode of Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will. I'm your man, Captain Will. Make sure you like, make sure you share, and make sure you subscribe to Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will so I continue to bring you that gospel of Gamecocks every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you're now rocking with the best. Since you're rocking with the best, come rock with your man, Captain Will. Let's go.